G'day my loves, I'm Ellie Frost, and on this channel we're talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And this video is about, if you're dealing with a narcissist, what you need to know, right? And there's a lot to know about this, but let's just go on to some really main points about how to deal with them, right? So spiritually, narcissists are soul detached. They're operating with an entity of consciousness, which we're calling narcissism, right? Which is why they all act in the same way. An entity of consciousness is like an awareness, right, that they're plugged into, and they operate in the psychic realm, which is why it's a spiritual attack, right? As well as often a physical, emotional, mental, and energetic one, right? And even if the narcissist isn't hurting you physically, right, when we get very emotionally hurt, it can lead to a lot of physical illnesses, right? So it's a multidimensional attack. The first thing you need to know when dealing with a narcissist is about boundaries. Yeah, so many of us have heard the idea of boundaries, but we're not good at setting them. And and some of us, you know, when we don't know how to do it effectively, we use it as a threat. Like, you know, if you do this to me again, I'm going to not talk to you anymore. That's not a boundary. A boundary is a deal breaker. So when you get clear on your boundaries, right, and there shouldn't be tons of boundaries, but they're things that will make you take a certain action. So an effective boundary could be like, if you keep yelling at me, I'm going to walk out the door, right? There's a line drawn, I will not accept yelling, and there's a consequence that I'm going to put into action, which is that I'm going to walk out the door. So that's one way of effective boundary setting. It's good to get clear on what your boundaries are, right? In lots of areas, there's a whole module on this in my program Sovereign, where you actually look at where your boundaries need to be in all sorts of different scenarios, right? But like, a boundary is a deal breaker. It's not a threat. Yeah. A standard is something that you're aspiring to uphold. Like, my standards are people are polite to me, and I don't get involved in talking about other people and things like that. The deal breaker is if someone doesn't respect those standards, then I may not be able to engage in the relationship anymore. There's a consequence, right? The other thing is to shut energy down. So I've got a free PDF. If you email me, ellie@elliefrost.com, the email's in the description box, I'll send you that. And you say you want that PDF, I'll send it to you, because it's got lots of communication tools about how to keep your energy, you know, pull back from the narcissist. But you want to shut energy down that it's making you feel uncomfortable, right? And you can intend to do that. There's other videos on here about breaking psychic ties, no consent in the psychic realm, right, to a narcissist. But you want to intend to shut the energy down at a time when you feel your energy is being siphoned and pulled, right? When you feel like you're being questioned or interrogated or antagonized or, you know, quite often terrorized by the narcissist. They're actually using you as a source of supply, an energy source. So intend to shut your energy down, intend to pull it all back, and then intend to take up space is what I teach. And there's a whole load of exercises in Sovereign on this as well. Say no. Right? Narcissists don't like it when you say no, but no is a complete sentence. And if you say no followed by a silence, it's even more effective. No, thank you. No, I don't want to do that. If you're not comfortable saying no, you can say, I need to think about it. Buying time is really important with narcissists, because they'll often try and rush you and railroad you into decisions and into doing things before you've had a time to think. So they can do so you're easy to siphon from. If you say, look, I need to think about that. I've had to sort of train myself, and I still don't always do it, to say as a default, I need to think about it, because as a chronic people pleaser in the past, my default was always yes, right? I was trained by narcissistic parents and narcissistic relationships to say yes, right? And then do what they wanted. And so now if I say, I need to think about it, then at least I can take a break and think if it's something I want to do or not, right? So following on from that, don't be railroaded, don't be rushed. Stay in touch with your body. In my early videos, I teach people a lot to like just rub their arms, or, you know, just attend to drop your energy down into your body. See how you feel. Don't get rushed and railroaded into conversations, into commitments, into anything, right? Love bombing happens often when we're railroaded, swept off our feet, right? And I said yesterday, like, there's nothing wrong with being swept off your feet by the right person. But when it's being used as a tool to manipulate you, there's a problem. So you want to check it's a full body yes, right? Pulling energy back, which is what I talked about. taking up, so pulling all your energy back, just intending to do that. I do this in more depth in my program, and then pushing your aura out, which is about 6 foot outside of you. So you actually take up space. You can't just be infiltrated. Yeah. Stop ruminating. This is really hard, right? So I do, in my work, does break trauma bonds and psychic ties with the narcissist. It's very hard when you're under psychic attack not to ruminate, because you're actually having their thought energy projected into your field, right? But you can say no consent in the psychic realm. I've taught this move before. When you say no, it actually breaks energy forces, right? Breath, body, movement has been known in Eastern cultures for decades, centuries even, in order to be very effective at moving energy, right? So you can use this move and say no consent, right? You're just basically breaking the energy tie. I do a lot more on that in my program. Don't be pushed outside your values. The thing with the narcissist is that they're basically manipulating and shaping and molding you into what they want and need you to be, rather than who you really are. And one of the really hard things about these cycles is that we stop being ourselves. We're not being our authentic self. We're not living our true values, right? We're not setting our true boundaries. What we're doing is often trying to keep the peace, being what the narcissist wants, to try and, not upset them and please them. And you know what I mean? We're bending ourselves out of shape. Someone wrote on the channel, very true, right, that, it's important to work on our self-esteem, yeah, because a narcissist will feed off you more. But the thing with a narcissist is you might have great self-esteem when you meet them, and they will literally work on bringing you down. They break you down, right? And often to a point where you don't even recognize yourself, and you've gone so far outside your own boundaries and values and standards, right, that you don't have a lot of respect for yourself, right? And you feel quite helpless and lost often in this cycle, right? So part of my work and my program is all about bringing you into your authentic power, what I call your authentic power. It's your true self. Because when you're being true to yourself, when you've got your own back, right, when you're standing for your values and standards and what you care about, right, your self-esteem is a side effect. It automatically is high, right, because you're not having to betray yourself, right, every day to get by. Yeah. So remember, you matter. Narcissists will treat you like you don't matter. Yeah, and to some extent that you don't exist in your own authentic right. You just exist to be what they need you to be, right? I matter. Remember, you matter. Remember, I matter, you matter, we matter. We all matter. What you think about matters. What you care about matters. What you want in your life matters, right? Your desires matter. Yeah, you don't have to put up with what you don't want to put up with. You don't have to accept the unacceptable. There's always a way out. So, next one, don't overshare. Right, don't overshare with narcissists. There's another video on here called "Don't Share These Things with a Narcissist." Right, your greatest fears and what's really on your heart, your greatest desires, are what they're going to exploit and use against you. So you want to really make sure people have earned your trust before you share too much of your vulnerabilities. And our vulnerabilities are our fears and our dreams, right? Because they're the things that they're going to use against you. So yeah, keep things safe. Don't be gaslit. Gaslighting is when your sense of reality is being distorted, right? That you're being gaslit when they say, "Oh, it didn't happen that way. That's not how I meant it to be. You're crazy. You can't trust yourself. That wasn't what happened. I didn't cheat." All those. There's so many ways they can gaslight you, but don't be gaslit. Stand by your sense of reality. Now, you don't have to. I teach this in the PDF. If you want the PDF, ask for it. You don't have. The best thing to do is avoid conflict, right? So I teach people diffusing statements, which are non-conflict statements. So I can say, "That's not how I see it." Yeah. If someone's questioning my reality, I stick by my sense of reality. I know what happened. I know how I felt about it. I will not be invalidated. And that's the next point. Don't be invalidated and devalued. But because that's what the majority of the narcissistic relationship is, devaluing and diminishing you. But if you say, "Ellie, it didn't happen that way," then I'll just say, "That's not how I see it." Yeah, we can agree to disagree. And you can even say to a narcissist, "You're entitled to your point of view." So many of us are giving them energy because we're trying to prove ourselves. We're trying to validate ourselves. That's exactly where they want you, confused and trying to get your point across. They know the truth. They don't care about the truth. They care about siphoning your energy. So you can just say, "I'm not willing to discuss this anymore. You're entitled to your point of view." That just stumps them. They've got nowhere to go with that because they can't siphon you. You're not desperate to prove yourself. You're not desperate to justify yourself, right? You know what's true. So keep hold of yourself. Keep hold of what you know is true, right? Don't let them railroad you or gaslight you into not believing in reality. If you'd like more details on my program, please email me. I'm doing something to my website at the moment so that I can put it up. Otherwise, please keep liking, subscribing and sharing. Lots of love, guys. I'll speak to you soon.